Okay, teach you about this thing that I've never used. He just killed everybody. Generic intro and the theduckgoesmoo here, back with some more Bad Weapon Academy by Fish Stick on a Stick. Today we have a new episode. It is the Huo-Long heater. It's actually a really long video. I've reacted to all of the Bad Weapon Academy so far. Thank you to everybody that told me that a new one was uploaded. The last one I think was the Candy Can. You want to check out that video? I'll leave it right there. Also link down below in the description. Also being two playlists on my channel, Team Fortress 2 and my Bad Weapon Academy playlist, because I did this is the 21st video I think I'm doing for Bad Weapon Academy. I have enjoyed it so much. It's taught me a lot about weapons, and I've actually tried a lot of weapons that I've never actually learned about or used before, and actually learned how to use them, and actually I've enjoyed some of them quite a bit, some not so much. But I stream Team Fortress 2 on Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern time. I don't think I'll be a live stream today because I'm going camping, I think. So as of right now, that's the plan. I don't know. Follow me on Twitch for future times though. Oh god, it's gonna be great. I've been reacting to the Mancox archives by El Toro 64 Russ. So I'm not sure when we react to next week. Maybe it'll be Zesty Jesus. I'm not really sure. But I hope you have a good day. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. Shout out to the patrons. They get the videos there early. Allow me to have a paywall on the channel. And let's go ahead and just jump on this. 169,000 views though. That's nice. Good for you, Fish Stick. Let's jump on into this.
Right,
also,
so
if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. I know like 80% of you are not.
And I did get an almost unfairly close 19 streak at one point, but
I've never used this thing.
To be a lot more
Never once.
I see a medic on fire and know it's my time to shine, but he dips around just too early.
So does it do extra damage on fire?
Medic on fire just happens to walk into my crosshairs. Then there's the scout, this pyro, this soldier, this other soldier who teleports behind me somehow.
How come I'm never in situations like this?
And
he's
right
getting
here
healed
is
too.
where the magic happens. I whip out the old shotgun to take out this invisible spy, prove heavy counter sniper by beating him to death, absolutely demolish yet another medic, and manage to kill yet another soldier, and scare off a soldier medic combo and live to tell the tale.
How, dude?
I personally thank my own medic for making this moment possible, and also I'd like to thank today's sponsor. Do you hate megalomaniacal corporations looking at all of your internet data and selling it to other megalomaniacal corporations?
Facebook be like,
so you get ads for things you were literally just talking about out loud in the vicinity of your phone.
Apparently Facebook's actually like threatening to leave Europe.
Then you need ExpressVPN for the privacy,
I've never actually used a VPN before.
You
but if one of these VPNs want to reach out to me and sponsor me,
hides your IP address from big tech companies.
I mean, I would try it.
Searches from your internet provider or network.
There's so many VPNs out there. There's so many.
Locates your IP address to a completely
Speaking of all these countries,
so you can get access to all the media
it was very surreal watching the
your country doesn't
Olympics, and they had the population. I'm just like,
available on Netflix in the UK because the UK needs to find a new way to screw us over now that we're not the colonies anymore. It's like
how did I know he was going there?
Netflix too, with all the new content it offers. I use it because I don't like the idea of being watched constantly by my computer like it's 1984. So having ExpressVPN gives me some extra peace of mind. This link,
and you know, you won't get ads for your thoughts.
Will be in the description below. And if you click on it, you get 3 months of ExpressVPN.
Also, usually I skip him, but he's funny, so it's not just him doing the normal, like a spill, just talking about ExpressVPN. Like he's actually a funny guy, because like that battle stuff, they just use the same ones over and over again. Oh, you can't say that on YouTube.
Welcome to Bad Weapon Academy.
Yes.
Where we take a look at the worst weapons.
Okay, teach you about this thing that I've never used.
I show you how to best utilize them.
Also, I read your comments, every single one of them.
This was a weapon that I recently became unsure of when thinking of whether or not to give it a Bad Weapon Academy episode. But
there should be a mediocre Weapon Academy.
I think it's at least somewhat deserved. I've gotten some shit in the past for my inability to pronounce a weapon name by cheese-eating surrender monkeys. So for the great leader Xi Jinping, I'll try to get this one right for the sake of my social credit score. The Huo-Long heater is a weapon that reminds me a lot of the backscatter, but not nearly to the same extreme.
That's banana. I ate one of those for the first time in my life.
In the sense that
Food reaction
in a lot of situations,
I don't know if that video's out yet.
I wonder if I would be doing the same or better with the stock minigun or Tomislav. So let's do the old stats.
I use a Tomislav.
The main draw of the heater is that while you spin up, you create a ring of fire around yourself. The ring of fire appears around you about 2 seconds from the point where you initiate your spin up. This will deal periodic damage and inflict afterburn in a radius around you on all enemies that end up touching the effect.
So does it damage you?
Damaging enemies underwater, which I think is kind of funny. On top of this, the gun will deal plus 25% damage to burning enemies, which really encourages up close and personal encounters.
That is
However,
nice.
This is
That's a good combo.
By an overall 10% damage penalty. which when put together is
10%,
kind of difficult to calculate thanks to Heavy's damage ramp up the longer you're spun up and the minigun's constant stream of fire as opposed to a single shot of burst damage. Overall, with the two stats factored together, it comes down to a 13% damage increase if the enemy is on fire compared to stock. Not nearly as extreme as the Brass Beast 20% flat increase, but the downsides aren't nearly as extreme either.
Yikes.
The final stat is the biggest downside.
Ammo will passively
Keeping
drain?
the Ring of Fire up by staying revved up will consume your ammo passively by 4 ammo per second. This means you'll have to stay revved up for 50 seconds.
Oh, it doesn't actually hurt him. Okay.
Just revving up alone, but that's when you don't even consider firing your weapon on top.
So you run through ammo.
Assuming you fire until you run out of ammo, the heater gives you 15 seconds of uninterrupted fire compared to 25 seconds on the stock minigun or Tomislav. That doesn't sound like such a big deal, but when you consider just how much you stay revved up without shooting as heavy, you realize that those seconds you're losing really start to add up.
And the fire takes ammo. That's so weird.
Downsides. The Ring of Fire is a really cool, unique mechanic.
No, the Scout. Oh,
However,
Scout,
I found
no.
the impact it has on gameplay to be
so
a
it pulsates
lacking.
and catches
For
them.
starters, the range. I understand that the range on this can't be too big because that makes Heavy's effective range this big
good for anti-spy, right?
But here's my contention with the Ring of Fire. At the range where the ring is active,
I need to try
you are the
this.
strongest class in the game.
My next TF2 stream, I'll use this.
Need that
it's
extra
Fridays at 5.
13% damage bonus. Not to mention, I found it pretty difficult to actually make use of the ring to catch enemies on fire to even get the damage bonus.
It sounds like it's for anti-spy.
It's a decently long wind-up time to get this effect to activate. Meaning, while it is sometimes effective, it's not the best for ambushes around a corner. And it's pretty useless in open combat where Heavy already struggles.
He almost
Not to mention, because you're so devastating at close range, a lot of enemies are going to stay out of that range. Ring of Fire.
And it's not like you're going to be able to flank them.
This does make you better at your most effective range, but your most effective range, sadly, isn't the range you're always going to be fighting people.
Do this up with a scorch shot using pyro?
I found myself in with this are when enemies like Demo Knights just kind of stupidly walk into the fire, or when an enemy pyro accidentally launched me towards his own teammates with an air blast, which was pretty funny. And in one more situation,
that doesn't happen often.
Jumping on people from above. If a map gives you any degree of brutality, this is a really fun way.
He just killed everybody.
Not only do not a lot of players look up to begin with, but the drop time of most falls is enough to offset the time it takes to charge up the Ring of Fire. And your mobility
you hit the ground.
Falling is much faster than while you're moving on the ground. Meaning it's the perfect ambush tool to close the gap on enemies in these situations. Maps like Barn Blitz, Thunder Mountain, Badwater, certain parts of Swiftwater and Borneo, and some others like Mountain Lab are all great examples.
That is cool.
For more horizontal maps like a lot of King of the Hill or 5CP maps,
jumps in the air.
It really isn't the best option. Open maps also aren't your friend. Typically, the more choke heavy, the better.
I definitely would drop on somebody's head with this thing.
People needing to enter your Ring of Fire, or even the likelihood of them stumbling into
bananas are so weird.
One downside of needing
like, what is the texture?
Is that the Ring of Fire can actually block your vision of what you're firing at.
If you're,
making it a lot more difficult to aim if you're aiming.
Imagine if you could like toggle it.
There is the argument to be made that the Ring of Fire acts as an effective deterrent, and that's not entirely incorrect. But again, because you just shred people at close range as a heavy, most people know better than to come anywhere near this range. Meaning the only class you're realistically deterring is a spy. And
which
Spy
I
has
need.
4 options for dealing with this. 1, he can simply jump over the Ring of Fire. 2, he can equip the kunai and just stab you without even caring, since the kunai extinguishes afterburn effects upon backstabbing and healing. 3, he can time it just right so that he never touches your fire to begin with, since the fire comes out in waves. Or 4, he can equip literally any knife except the spysicle and just stab you without even caring, because why bother having self-preservation instincts when you're gonna die after every kill anyway? Or using the Dead Ringer. This means it isn't really a fire and forget weapon when it comes to spies the way something like the Razorback is. You're still going to have to be as vigilant as ever. If you do manage to catch a spy out as he's in your ring, you have what's pretty much a guaranteed dead spy on your hands, which is definitely a bonus. One last downside about the Ring of Fire before we move on. You know how wearing an unusual as certain classes is basically putting up a big neon sign over your head? It says, "Please, for the love of God, shoot me right in my fucking head." Well, imagine that, but anytime you rev up, your entire body is an unusual effect. So on top of how fucking loud this gun is, Once you rev up, you announce to every sniper, demo, soldier, whoever, that's exactly where you are. Even if you're behind cover, since the ring of fire will clip through
7 health.
Considering this weapon does so well with ambushes, this can make your job fairly difficult.
Backstab? Oh,
especially compared to a weapon like the Tomislav, which has heavy jump scares as a built-in advantage. For snipers especially, this can be pretty disastrous, since you've essentially done half the sniper's job for him by giving away your position and actively making a big flashing target.
Sniper still hits the shot.
So the extra damage is the next stat to break down. It's definitely an interesting upside, being able to essentially
oh, there we go. They dropped out. They're all on fire in a tunnel at a choke point. It's good payload maps,
This leaves the job primarily to your friendly pyros or the occasional cow mangler soldier. And how they go about lighting people on fire is really out of your control. As well
you didn't do a bad weapon countering cow mangler daily.
You could queue up with a friendly pyro to ensure at least someone is going to do fire damage to get you what you need, but that's not a guaranteed scenario. If you do, or you happen to run into a pyro
medic, pyro, and Huo-Long heater,
then the crowd control flare guns like the detonator and that other one.
The scored shot. What did I say earlier?
Multiple people on fire for a good amount of time from a safe distance for the pyro. This lets you take advantage of the extra damage at mid to long range, or in the range.
I was about to say he just got bumped, and that spy is my experience playing spy, not giving the backstab.
Success with this effect. However, relying on someone else for you to do extra damage, a pyro in particular, is part of what makes the sun on a stick such a meme weapon. So, and also like if you're gonna have someone queuing with you and you're playing heavy, just get a pocket medic. It's way better. Like it's way better. I have to say though, in those moments where you do manage to work in
having a medic is great in general.
It's really fun and satisfying. The way this upside is listed on the stats makes it look a lot better than it actually is. The 10% damage penalty and the 25% bonus on burning targets stack multiplicatively, meaning it only comes out to a 13% bonus over stock. If it was a flat 25%, that would be pretty awesome. But it's so situational that I don't think it would be that bad balance-wise.
But if it's teamed up and used right,
amazing difference or anything. Honestly, I kind of
struggle to notice
the difference in a lot of situations. Heavy is a difficult class to judge in regards to feedback. You almost have to test how much of a difference you're making in a controlled environment, which isn't always indicative of the real game. And that goes for the damage penalty and the damage increase.
Wow, it barely killed him faster.
That damage penalty, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it can still rob you of kills. I see it as kind of being in a similar state to the Overdoses 10% damage penalty.
4 health.
Sure, a small number.
Yeah, Jesus did a video on Overdose, right?
But
I need to react to this stuff. Maybe that'll be next week.
In a DPS-centric class like Heavy, it can feel frustrating to essentially lose kills over this feature. You can kind of think of it like, if you're going to be doing single to low double-digit damage, then every point of damage counts.
Oh, that's fine.
But again, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not like the Liberty Launcher's damage penalty, where you may as well be hitting.
That was a Molten Mallard. I have one. That's my hat.
Natasha, which basically needs the awful slowdown in order to kill people. But I've definitely noticed it, especially at long range, and especially when fact with Heavy's damage ramp up on spin up. That shit will make your bullets do 2 damage at long range until you're maxed out. Then they do a nice, spicy 4 damage. The last thing to talk about stats-wise is the passive ammo drain while you're revved up. This is definitely the aspect of the gun that most people complain about, and for good reason.
Because ammo?
See, ammo conservation is something you don't really need to worry about, ever, as Heavy, but now with the heater, it's something you constantly have
Does the payload give you ammo, or is it just health?
Every time you rev up, it's like the time you can shoot people is sinking down an hourglass. And every time you shoot people, your sustainability drops.
Oh, that poor sniper.
You constantly have to check around for ammo packs or dispensers. This brings us nicely to the mode that everyone uses this thing on.
Payload?
Payload offense. Just play payload offense. Hug the cart, never let go, and you don't have to worry about it.
And let it push you.
As long as you're vigilant to spies and snipers, you can just sit on the cart and watch as the enemy desperately tries to hold together a front line. But let me ask
while
you
you're burning through them.
Is this strategy being made any more effective?
Yeah, it's not okay. So the payload only gives you health.
You still have to be just as worried about.
I'm playing it for too long to be asking questions like that.
And the sounds it makes can actually mask their decloak sounds, especially compared to the Tomislav, making it harder to avoid them. assuming they know how to bypass your ring of fire, so not there. You're just as ineffective.
Me playing the game is nothing just getting stabbed in the back.
The added bonus of doing less damage to them at long range, which just gives them a larger window of time to headshot you, and the giant flashing sign begging them to do so, so not there either. It doesn't make the cart go any faster. It doesn't let you take advantage of the ring of fire to light up enemies very often, since no one's going to want to fight a heavy with effective passive health regen at point-blank range. So here's my pitch.
That's emitting
the Huo-Long
fire.
Heater does not make pushing the cart as heavy more effective. Pushing the cart as heavy is just really, really fucking strong. There's a reason having multiple heavies on the payload cart is basically a guaranteed victory for offense.
That's not always true.
To keep a stream of damage out towards the front line
and be healed and being pushed
moving forward, which keeps defensive classes like engineer, sniper, and heavy playing catch up, meaning the defense crumbles. Does the heater make this any easier? Any more effective? Not really. The payload cart
heavy is such a good class though.
Dispenser that eliminates this ammo consumption weakness. You don't get to walk into people walking at you the way you do on defense. So in this situation, you're just using a minigun with 10% less damage that might make spies slightly easier to track down after they backstab you.
But you also protect the area.
Yeah. The reason you'll see me consistently
with like your teammates
as a heater heavy in this video isn't because the strategy really works well for the heater specifically. It's because it works for heavy in general. There was a round I played on Pier where I got 1 kill the entire round.
How?
And
also
still
Kuda's
managed
bird.
to place second on the scoreboard just because I was helping the cart. And the only person I scored lower than was a short-circuit spamming engineer doing the same thing. So that covers a lot of it. After all that, you can hopefully see why I consider this to be in the same ballpark as the backscatter. I think the instances
the backscatter is not good. I did not like it at all.
With the backscatter, where you had to be right behind 3 like
really wonder
in a row,
what
breathing in their fart
thought
gas.
process was
Here,
making some
you
of
just
these
have
guns
to be up in their face at all, which is where you're already at your best, or
that has to be so much fun though.
Fire, which is more often the case than not. It's situational, but not so situational that it's rarely, if ever, worth using. But when it's being a worse version of stock, it's just being a worse version of stock, and there's not much you can do about it. What you can do is try to maximize the situations where you can ambush people. For this reason, I found myself running the second banana a lot. Since this gun does seem to encourage ambushes, or at the very least point-blank range combat, it means it puts you deep into enemy lines, or at least big groups as heavy. Which is pretty damn dangerous, so being able to heal yourself
I mean, the soldier actually almost killed him.
As much as possible.
Can you see out that glass?
I found to be very beneficial.
Is that one-way glass?
As far as the ammo draining is concerned, you could also run a shotgun in order to still have some means of doing damage, even if you get caught without ammo, but I wouldn't say this is as advantageous as it is with the Brass Beast. It's probably the second most viable minigun to run a shotgun with, though. And if you want to roleplay as a fat pyro by torching people with the ring of fire and finishing
how did he do that?
Then I can't stop you. The shotguns are definitely more effective on maps where engineers aren't as common and ammo packs are harder to come by. So I would say some Koth or 5CP maps work out best here. If you do choose to run a shotgun, then my recommendation for a melee is the Killing Gloves of Boxing, for reasons that the intro hopefully made obvious. Otherwise, for the same reason that running the banana is a good idea, I'd also recommend the Gloves of Running.
Just dodging this.
These things are lifesavers, and I would say easily the best melee to pair with this.
The medic's like run away.
Not only can you use them offensively to get yourself into a proper ambush position as quickly as possible, but once you're done, you can use them defensively to get yourself into safety quickly. This is especially useful if you're at low health.
Unsee how bananas.
As they essentially have no downsides if you're at 100 health or less. They're a fantastic getaway tool. And if you're running low on ammo, it's easy to whip them out, run over to the nearest ammo pack or dispenser, and get back in the fight as quickly as you can. This works especially well
the ammo pack at?
Dropped by enemies out
in the open how fast? Oh, dispenser works too.
The Fist of Steel also worked for this purpose, but I found the Groove to be just as, if not more effective in certain scenarios. I ended up liking them so much I caved and crossed another strange festive weapon off the list.
Oh god. Does he have a collection?
To keep an eye on
a strange festive weapons?
Not on payload offense. Or a strong defensive hold with a nearby dispenser. If you are in this situation, then your Ring of Fire's effects as a deterrent are at their strongest. A spy will definitely think twice about sapping a sentry nest if there's a heavy who can incinerate him without even looking at him.
If he gets close,
But this isn't exactly the most fun way to play.
No.
I'd say that also
but you're
extends
protecting
to the card
Sentry.
pumper heavy.
So.
Like, oh sure, it's effective, but god damn is it boring. Just sit on the cart for 3 minutes.
So I don't really play as heavy. Heavy is like a last resort.
They get into your range as your team has all the fun taking advantage of the momentum you're creating for them. Yay. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like that's an issue with this weapon in that the playstyles it encourages to get around your ammo consumption are really boring and tedious. The ambushes are really fun. Getting in deep with your
the demo didn't realize what was going on.
Really fun. But the turtling, not so much.
That
anyway,
jumping down and emitting fire.
A few of your resources as heavy. For one, it discourages you from staying revved up for too long. This has a couple of issues in that it can result in you getting
gives you lots of options
more
though.
Often. You can't play proactively nearly as well. You have to play much more reactively. It also means you're being penalized by Heavy's damage ramp up over time. See, all miniguns start off with a 50% damage penalty that decreases over the course of about a second of having the gun revved up. So this means your minus 10% damage penalty becomes a lot more harsh when you're constantly having to unrev your gun just to keep yourself in the fight.
So basically you have to be around
catch people on fire,
a dispenser or a payload.
In combat, it can be frustrating since people have so much more time to react to you, meaning you can't even consistently rely on dead enemies dropping ammo packs, which is normally part of what makes ammo management such a non-issue for heavy.
For heavy, yeah. You just pick them up because you're killing so many people.
Sacrifice is
time.
Time to set up an attack, to rev up before you engage the enemy, to stay revved up before you even know you're about to engage, just in case.
Oh my god, what is around that corner?
Put on a timer. You can't hide around a corner and wait for people to walk into you. You can't hold a position that enemies are going to come through without being aware that slowly but surely your sustainability is draining. Using this gun can be stressful, man. It's like putting existential dread into a game as a gameplay mechanic. I'm so not used to running out of ammo as heavy.
Yeah, that's fast either.
Able to stand on the point, revved up, whipping around looking for spies or flanking scouts.
The fact that it has that drain off,
the drain is weird. Is this such a
there any other gun like that?
Makes the gun unusable? No, not at all. But outside of those ambush situations, I think it's a gun that really struggles to find its
medic
place.
too.
Even in MVM, it's not the best option. Though it's definitely a solid one, especially if you're running a pyro as well, but even then you can hold your own without one. The gas passer
I need to play more MVM. It's been a long time.
Against small robots since it disintegrates them instantly, but against giants, having that damage bonus is pretty nice. And since robots are fucking stupid and have no souls and just run straight into you with no self-preservation instincts, you can take advantage of the Ring of Fire way more often. You can buy ammo capacity,
you know where they're going to be because you're the path.
To never have to worry about the downside either. You can also upgrade your movement speed so you can move towards the robots more effectively to get them caught in your Ring of Fire more often. And when you get that
MVM, they can expand MVM so.
Or Kritzkrieg medic on you while you're shooting an on-fire enemy.
He's not even bothering with the medic.
It's beautiful. But when I compare that to the constant 20% damage increase the Brass Beast gets, it starts to look a little pale. Still hardly a bad choice. I mean, hey, it's not the Tomislav, and I suppose that just about covers it. The heater is a weapon that, like the backscatter, I find to be not often worth using over stock. But I do see the
I want to try just for the ambush. That's all I want to do with this.
The backscatter. And certainly more fun to discuss and dissect. But I find it more frustrating to use in stock due to the ammo drain. Even with that said, Heavy was my least played class.
Well, if you die all the time, you don't worry about it.
When he overtook Medic, and I still had a lot of fun with it. Backstabbing clueless snipers with fire as a Heavy is something you just can't get with other weapons. But it's still just a bit underwhelming. So how can we fix that?
Wrong place at the wrong time.
I'm not sure if there's a simple solution, or if it even needs a major.
This gun is so unique and has so many different things going on.
Pretty smart. Like, I don't think the Ring of Fire should be a free resource. So making it consume ammo is a smart move.
Less ammo
and the
or
range
something.
Of the ring isn't so much that it hinders a lot of classes that you're weak to, but it's also so small that I think it's mainly meant to be a spy deterrent that doesn't even work half the time. It's a tricky thing to rebalance.
It really,
but we can
it's
give
so
it a
weird.
Try. I think something kind of extreme would be to have a meter that charges with damage, like the soda popper or the banners. Once you activate the charge, you start to fire incendiary rounds which light enemies on fire for the duration of the charge at the cost of double
what is that
ammo
posture from Heavy?
Which fits the theme of the weapon and is a suitable downside for hit scan fire damage. This would not only give you far more opportunities to take advantage of your boosted fire damage, but also give it a niche as an active sniper counter, which I think Heavy could use since outside of Engineer, he's the only class who doesn't really have something like that. All of his are passive, really. If that's too strong, then maybe drop the current damage penalty a bit lower, like 15% to make up for it. Another slightly extreme option is to enhance the ability to jump on enemies to catch them off guard.
Let's say if you
jump from a high enough point,
those poor snipers.
Ring of Fire's area of effect and maybe even damage is briefly doubled, enabling you to catch even more enemies on fire and be even more effective. Being able to drop out of the sky like a human Tunguska,
that's what I want to do.
Pretty sick.
I want to do that so bad, just like that.
Otherwise, I'd say change the damage penalty to only apply to non-burning enemies. That way, you get the full 25%
yeah, that would be good.
Instead of just 13.
Slightly better.
Way more punch in those specific scenarios, while still
in the scenarios, the majority. I agree with that actually, 100%.
Interesting that proponents of this weapon.
Do you agree? I read all the comments by the way.
Damage penalty is just sort of this whatever stat. Like, it doesn't even make that much of a difference. But then the 13% damage increase is totally worth it, even with how situational it is. Like, it's almost the same difference in damage, so either both of them matter, or neither of them do.
Yeah.
Either that, or the simplest change of all.
Oh, that's a big sword. What sword is that? That wasn't an Islander, was it?
And activate it manually instead of having it be passive. Sometimes you need to just rev up for suppressive fire or an ambush. And I'm not really sure if you should be punished for that.
Taunting.
Then just let me festivize it, and I'll have a full professional killstreak strange festive.
Do they celebrate Christmas, China?
Kind of has synergy. Anyway, that's it for now. The heater is honestly probably the best bad weapon in the game, meaning it's all downhill from here, especially considering what we've got left. So
what's left?
Now,
what's left?
We're still playing with something usable. Go out there and roast the enemies into some delicious Chinese food. And tell them fish.
Panda Express. I've actually eaten a 2-story Panda Express. It was in Illinois. Oh, man. That was interesting. About to say, there's going to be credits, and there's going to be something at the end of the video. 169,000 views. It's very, very nice. And thank you to everybody that told me that there was a new episode. I read every comment on, like, almost all of my videos. So when there's a new episode, please let me know so I can react to it. I don't know what I'm going to react to next week. Definitely comment down below to, like, you know, tell me what you want me to... Oh, that was a lot of dead ringers. I hate that. Should it be Zessie Jesus? Should it be more El Toro 64 Russ? Should it be Soundsmith? I haven't reacted to Soundsmith in a while. You all have been commenting. Oh, what is that an ornament? I don't know what that's supposed to be. Yeah, people have done like MVM shenanigans from Soundsmith. Is there going to be a Kyogre again? Where is the Kyogre? Where is it? Where is it? I'm also reacting to How It Feels by Lazy Purple right now. Oh, there's Kyogre. How's it going, bud? What's the clip? Oh, wait.
Ooh.
Oh, wait. Did somebody get something? Did they get an Australian? Okay. What? I don't... What did he just get? What did he... I can't tell because you did the end screens. Well, they're saying nice. I don't know what it is. That's wow, bro. What? Come on, Fish Stick. Please tell me somebody told him that that's a problem. Because, I mean, it's obviously he just, you know, wanted to get the video out and just did, like, the end screen from previous videos. Because I do the same thing, but it doesn't get in the way or block things like that. It just goes on my outro. So... Oh, that's unfortunate. Definitely let me know what he actually got. He, like, hovered over. Was a kill streak thing for a sniper rifle? Is that what he was trying to get? Is it that difficult to get? I'm not really sure. But I don't really know. I enjoyed this Huo-Long heater. Is definitely an interesting and unique gun. I don't know if there's any other guns like that. Like, at the Ring of Fire, that's really cool. I'm definitely going to try this thing. Next time I stream Team Fortress 2, I'll be trying this. I stream Team Fortress 2 on Fridays at 5 p.m. I'm not sure if I'm going to be streaming today, but I'll definitely be streaming next week, I think. So I hope you have a great, wonderful rest of the day. I hope you're subscribed. Definitely check out the gaming channel or my Twitch or anything like that. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. But until next video, take care and cue the music.
We were